Mm-hmm.
Okay,
There you go.
I hit record. I just went through all the introductions. Billy's down on the bottom, well, in my screen. Billy's in the blue polo. My arch enemy Austin is in the Giants uniform, and my buddy Lent from Colorado is the bald guy there. And like I said, we didn't get a chance to do this last week, so we're going to do it this week. And since there's four of us, we might have a disagreement on who wins the games. So that's why we have this. It's American currency.
Tiebreaker.
It's the 25 cents. It's called a quarter, and that's going to be the tiebreaker of who.
For all of our international viewers and
for
listeners.
our international viewers that are watching this. So I guess I don't even really know how we would start this out. I guess first things first. Did you guys wake up feeling dangerous?
Oh, so let's talk about.
Now, are we doing a recap from last week, or are we just?
I mean, we should
do a quick recap.
We can do a quick recap. Okay, well, first off,
let's start there.
Let's start there. Baker Mayfield woke up dangerous, and he took out the Steelers, no problemo.
No problem. Steelers kind of just self-imploded on themselves in that first quarter. Putting up 28 against that Steelers defense right off the bat is not an easy task to do. And them scoring 28 points was actually more points than they scored all game last week when they played them the week before. So week 17, they put up, I think it was 22-24. They ended up winning. And now the Steelers are kind of relaxed. Like, oh, we're going to win this game. No problem. The Browns is the Browns, according to Juju Smith-Schuster. And
he talked all season. Yeah.
And he talked all season, and he's doing the TikTok dances and everything. And then look what happens.
Imagine how differently everything would have turned out if they actually played their starters last game of the season.
If Big Ben plays week 17, they're out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're having a whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know? So, I mean, that right off the bat, that was their overconfidence that finally killed them in the end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the first play of the game was over Ben's head. That looked all too familiar, didn't it, Mr. Colorado?
Yeah, I was going to say, it reminded me of when Peyton Manning was in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. And as soon as that ball went over his head, we knew it was going to be a rough game. And as soon as that ball went over Big Ben's head, I'm pretty sure Steelers fans and Steelers Nation alike felt like that was going to be a rough game. I mean, the guy's 9 feet tall, and they still managed to somehow throw it over his head. They just got off to a rough start, and things went downhill from there. It's nice to see Cleveland win. First time since Belichick was the head coach, so it's got to be nice for
94.
Yeah, that's
was it 4 or 5?
I wasn't born. I wasn't even born.
That makes all of us feel old,
right?
But crazy. It's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. So the Browns beat the Steelers. I had my bracket that I created at home here. And originally I got both my AFC games wrong. So I picked the Steelers to win based on the fact that the Browns is the Browns, right?
Right.
I mean, I kind of had that attitude too. Like, Browns is the Browns. Like, they ain't gonna, but they pulled it off. But I also picked the Titans to beat the Ravens. So we can segue into that one.
So I actually had a feeling that the Ravens were going to win that game, and I had the Ravens beating the Titans. Reason being is that Titans have not looked good at all in the last few weeks here. They got blown out by the Packers, and they barely squeak in a win against the Texans in that last week. Literally squeak it in with a field goal. And I think they were going to be in big trouble. Their third down defense is the worst in the NFL. The worst. And you can't win a game if you can't stop them on third. So I think I kind of saw that coming from, weeks out. They're in trouble.
Well, and that's like kind of a parallel with the Steelers. It's like these teams had really good first halves, first 2/3 of the year, and then they start slowing down while these other teams start picking up speed. You know what I mean? It was like you got to watch out for the ones that get hot at the end. That's how the Patriots did for so many years. They never had first good quarters, or maybe sometimes not good first halves, but by the end of the season, they were hot. They were red hot. Yeah,
they're ready for the playoffs.
And then when we get to the Packers, I think that's kind of what we're seeing there too. You know,
and Ravens too. I think the Ravens are getting hot at the right time. They at one point I think they were like what 4-5, 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the
Oh, they're
Ravens were going to
5-4.
make the playoffs halfway
Mhm.
through the season. I just didn't see it, but they did it.
They got hot at the
Ravens
time.
could do something. You got anything on? Did you even get a chance to? What games did you see this week, Len?
I got to see bits and pieces of every game, but I didn't get to see a full game. But I was just going to add on to the Ravens. I mean, they have looked the past 5 weeks. They haven't played the greatest competition, but they've also beaten the crap out of all the teams that they've played. So they've come out showing that they're ready to take that step. And I mean, that's what good teams do, is they just dominate the teams that they're supposed to beat. So it was really, I mean, they came, like you guys both said, they both came in hot. They came in firing. All their weapons were running on the right cylinder. And then watching Lamar take off on that 48-yard touchdown.
Oh, that was awesome.
Right? It was just fun to watch.
That was great.
Like probably about I don't know, maybe 20 minutes before that play happened, I was like, Ravens just aren't the Ravens like they used to be. Lamar, I don't know. He hasn't really shown me this year that he still got it. And then, boom, there he goes.
See you later, taking it to the house call.
Just
so.
foot in my mouth all the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ravens go on to
going to the Bills. They're heading to New York.
I guess we'll talk AFC, then we'll talk NFC here. Let's just stick
Sure.
with the theme here. So Ravens go to Buffalo. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be the game of the week, honestly.
That's going to be an exciting
such
one.
a fantastic game.
Yeah, everybody's talking, Brady Breeze Bowl, but that first game is going to be for a real football fan. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. That's going to be brutal, and they're predicting snow.
Snow in Buffalo.
Game.
Yeah.
Nice. I looked right at you. Yeah, you like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lamar made a big deal about, I don't want to play in no snow. I don't want to play in the snow. And then Ross Tucker, who's a big NFL media guy, posted out. He goes, first rule, you don't tell people you don't want to play in the snow.
Probably a bad idea.
Yeah, So it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I think we should just for a second at least talk about the Bills and the Colts game as well, just because we kind of skipped over that.
Sorry, I totally skipped that game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one, dude, for real. That was an incredible game.
Mm-hmm. Came close. Came really, really close.
So what was the final score of that game?
I think it was 24-27. Bills obviously won. And that last little drive there, they had a little bit of help, I think, from the refs with that pickup of the fumble. The guy, they said that he gave himself up, or they didn't have enough evidence to turn the ball over, but the guy straight up fumbled the ball on live TV.
He fumbled it. 100% he fumbled it.
Got away with murder. They kept the ball, but didn't matter. The Bills ended up winning. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen. I think it's a lot.
Before you get to the possibly MVP of the year, Josh Allen. But the reason why the Colts lost, I know Billy will back me on this. I'm sure Lent will too. It's 2 words.
Philip I was going to say, does one start with a P and one start with an R?
Philip Rivers that's just what he does. We were watching games last year. We go, watch, Philip Rivers will throw a pick to screw them over. And 2 plays later, he threw a pick.
But what's really funny was he played probably one of the most un-Philip Rivers games he's played all year.
He did play.
He was
well.
actually not bad. Which I know we're not talking about this, but I mean, based off of that, do you think he's going to come back for another year? I think he's more likely to come back than Breeze is, to be honest with you.
He's going to go to New England.
I don't think he'll go to New England. They'll probably sit him right there with the Colts for one more year. They'll have a guy behind him, and who knows? They might pick up someone from the draft. I could see anything happen with the Colts. They could pick up Carson Wentz, maybe. Who knows what's going on there? Matt Ryan's going to be a free. I think they're talking about him setting him free.
Who's the Lions guy? What's his name?
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford, man. They're big changes there with the Lions, man.
He's going to the Patriots.
Huge.
Oh, is he going to the Patriots?
Every quarterback that you mentioned, he's going to the Patriots.
Oh, I know. The Colts are going to get Cam Newton.
I'm not going to say that one.
I think Cam might be done. And I like Cam. I really do. And I thought he was a
Not
hard
to,
worker.
not to go off too topic, but is Tua getting traded or what's going on with Tua? I heard some news.
So from what I heard, it kind of sounds like almost as brutal as this is, it's a life for a life. So they're going to trade Tua. This is all speculation. They'll trade Tua to the Texans.
Right.
And then the
That's
Dolphins are
what I
like,
thought.
here, you want your first round pick back? Here you go. You can have it back since we have it now anyway, because you made a terrible trade. We have your first round pick. You pick at 3, and now that's our pick. So Texans aren't going to go anywhere next year. So I think that trade with if they acquire Deshaun Watson in any way, that could be game over.
The most disturbing news is that coming out of the locker room of the Texans is that a good portion of the team doesn't believe.
They want out.
Yeah,
JJ,
exactly.
I don't think he wants to be there. Deshaun Watson, he was just a diamond in the rough. He was the top passer last year, and just for him to be stuck on the third worst team in the NFL, I think that's insane. Top passer, number one. So.
It's really too bad to see how the ownership in Houston has handled this whole situation. I mean, they went out and said that they were going to get him involved in this scenario when they pretty much already had Nick Casares in their mind as being the GM, and then they're not even going to have an interview with Bieniemy when Bieniemy was the guy that that Watson wanted on the word of Patrick Mahomes. So I mean, everything that we saw leading up to this situation was that Bieniemy was going to be the guy down in Houston. He was going to revitalize Watson's career, turn him into another version of Patrick Mahomes, and now it seems like that whole scenario has gone out the window. And I mean, if I was Deshaun Watson, I'd be pissed too. He's put his life on the line. I mean, last year his health was so bad he literally had to take a bus by himself to a game because he couldn't get on an airplane. And now you're going to bring in a whole new GM that has nothing to do with the future, without bringing in this guy who you just paid. I can't remember what his contract was. Yeah, exactly. They just signed him a huge contract. They just put him essentially as the face of the franchise, and now you're going to piss him off a week after telling him that you were going to let him be involved in these decisions. I think it's really poor job on the ownership and management of the Houston Texans to kind of botch this whole
100%. That I mean, that's yeah. The fact that you take a bus, that's nuts.
And his passer rating was 121.9 this season. This year. How is it possible
Hopkins, without DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, but how is it possible to play that good and lose so many games?
No defense, no stars. They didn't surround him with anybody. He has no offensive line. He has a kind of old, rusty running back. Who, I mean, 4 years ago he was fantastic, but David Johnson isn't what he used to be, and he's still a good player, and he still had a good season. But it's not David Johnson, lead rusher from.
He's not the same David Johnson that we know. I mean, truthfully, we all know where Deshaun will probably end up going.
If you say the Patriots,
probably gonna go to the Patriots.
Not a chance.
So anyway, so bad. Buffalo beat Indianapolis. So we have the Browns headed to Kansas City. We have the Ravens headed to Buffalo, which there may be snow, and we've got reports from the Blue Polo that he said. I didn't know that he said that. That's nuts that he said he doesn't want to play a snow game. Like, you don't say that.
No, you're gonna get it.
They're gonna eat you up. Do you guys want to talk about the AFC games, or do you want to recap the NFC games?
Let's go to the NFCs real speedy quick. We'll buzz through these real quick. Let's start with Rams.
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
Upset.
I picked the Rams to win on
really.
I picked them to win. I actually got my NFC 100% right. I got NFC right. I got AFC wrong. So I picked the Rams to win. Seattle has just had way too many close games this year that they could have lost, but they won.
I mean, they lost to the Giants too.
And the Seahawks did?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No reason to lose to this team team this year.
I just didn't see if you were to ask me week 6, I probably would have told you, dude, Seattle all the way. Let's do it. They were fantastic. They had the same syndrome as the Steelers did. You know, they were hot in the beginning. But I picked the Rams to win that, and they did. Jared Goff played with a broken thumb. He actually was the backup for.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, yeah, the dude's going to play. You know what's his name? The other guy.
Warford or whatever.
Warford, yes.
And
Warford,
I
yeah.
mean, he was out there. He was getting out of the pocket, and he was playing great. And then bam, and I said, "Here we go. That's the end of this game. This game's over. Goff's coming in."
that guy, he got taken out of the stretcher. Like,
Yeah, did you see he had a
Oh.
brace on his neck and everything?
Scary.
That stuff, that's
Unbelievable.
scary. Yeah, but Jared Goff came in, man, and he won the. You know, he didn't not him by himself, but he helped the Rams win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, anything else on that one?
Not much. Just kind of a melting of the Seahawks team because I mean, look at all these players like DK Metcalf.
Ramsey
And-
had DK Metcalf all day.
But I mean, he had a decent day. He had that touchdown. He just let him go for a touchdown. But that was pretty much it. By the way, Jared Goff's numbers, just to let you know, not great. He threw 9 for 19, 155, and 1 touchdown. So
and that's why I was
crazy.
trying to say he didn't win them the game. Definitely not. It was definitely.
It was the defense. It was the
their
defensive battle
defense.
and Cam Akers running it. Cam Akers, let's see. I think he had like
He's a
100,
stud. I like Cam.
131
Akers.
yards. Yeah, 131 yards rushing for 4.7 average, and I think he looked real good. Then you got Russ, wasn't cooking at all. Russell was 11 for 27. 11 for 27.
Oh, I just going to say, I think you got to give Sean McVay a lot of credit for coming out with a game plan that he knew that could beat Seattle. He knew the plays that he had to run. He knew that if they ran the ball well, that they wouldn't have to rely on their quarterback too much. And he knew that if the defense stepped it up, that the offense wouldn't have to be the main go-to. And when you got guys like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on the defense, I mean, I'll be honest, when they first made those picks and they kind of invested all their eggs into those two baskets, I was surprised. I was like, you know what? They're going to overpay for these two guys. They're not going to have any depth anywhere else. And they've really proven me wrong. They've really proven that they have one of the better defensive units in the league. And when you got a guy like Donald who demands a double team on every play, and then a guy like Ramsey who can shut down your top receiver, I mean, I'll throw a little bit into this next week's pick, but I would not be surprised if the Rams beat the Packers. I'm not saying they're going to,
perfectly,
but I won't be surprised if they do.
That defense, number one defense versus number one offense.
Exactly. And I think that the Rams defense they can at least if they can put pressure on Rodgers up the middle and they can shut down Adams. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be an interesting game. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. All I got
stoked for Saturday. Yo, what's up?
Yeah, all I got to say is, man, cold weather on a broken thumb.
Not going to be pretty. It's going to be a rough game out there.
I mean,
on that tundra. Whew.
I think they have a way better chance of winning if Goff does not play. Oh, I really do.
Who do they?
Well, the other guy, he's okay from what I understand. It's nothing permanent. It was like whiplash or something, you know.
So Wolford is going to be starting.
Well, no, he's playing that game. He's not committing to either one. So he's saying we don't know. That's going to be a game time decision. He's playing that game.
I think they're doing that on purpose to kind of confuse the Packers because they have kind of a different playing style, Warford and Goff. So
right, but it's I believe that if they play the other guy, they have a way better chance of winning because Goff is not going to win you the big game, and his thumb is not going to be feeling real good out there in Wisconsin weather. You know?
No, probably not. So
we kind of went all over the place there.
We did kind of jump over to that game, which we'll come back to it. But I do want to talk about. I think we might have just saw the best backup quarterback to play football, who's going to have such a long career as a backup quarterback. But that's the guy from Washington. I can't even think of his name. I just call him the kid.
Heineke.
Oh my God.
Quarterback career ever.
You know, that guy, you know, because God only knows who's going to be the quarterback there. It's not going to be him, and it's not going to be Alex Smith.
No.
You know, but Alex Smith, if he comes back, which I hope he doesn't, because that's just scary. But he's going to be a backup for a while if he plays. But and I don't think Heineke's but I don't think Heineke's going to be the guy. But boy, he just built himself up some tape, man. Somebody's going to snag that guy.
So much fun watching that dude play, like especially because he was playing the Bucks, and I'm not against the Bucks, but like I don't know. I got mixed feelings on the Bucks and Brady and whatever. So it was fun. I was cheering for the football team to win that game, but I mean, they weren't going to. Brady and the Bucks are too good.
Yeah, the Bucks defense.
It was really nice to see.
It's too good.
It was really nice to see too how Heineke's team kind of backed him up. Like there's multiple players who came out after the game that said that they were willing to ride with him, that he came out there and proved that he has what it takes to play in this league. And it's just really nice when you can get that acclamation from your peers to let them know that they think you did a good job too. So I mean, it was fun for the fans, it was fun for the team, it was fun for everybody involved, and it's just nice to see games like that. I mean, and hey, Washington kept it competitive for longer than I thought they would. So I was actually they put the game in there and made it at least a competitive football game.
So
wasn't Heineke one of those AAF guys? Wasn't he in that league?
Yes.
Yeah. He played with who was it now? Was it Arizona? But yeah, he played in the AAF for the XFL.
And he was actually
XFL, I think.
Yeah, he was one of them, and he was actually pretty good from what I remember there. So
no, he was his play in the XFL is essentially what got him the tryout in the NFL, and then he took full advantage of it on last night's game and showed the world that he, like you said, he might not be a starter, but he's going to be one of the best backups in the league for whoever he lands.
Yeah.
I mean, he could start as a Viking. I'd take him.
Maybe.
So the question to me remains: who was the biggest underdog in the NFC? Was it the football team or was it the Bears?
Well, I don't even think the Bears are on the radar. I mean, they put their game on Nickelodeon for a reason, okay?
Yes, they did.
I honestly almost forgot about that one. I'm like, wait, there's another game? Yeah.
Right. No, yeah. It was the blowout of the week, I guess we could say.
Yeah, and it just kind of a rough game to watch. Nothing really happened. It was just kind of a
What was the final score of that? Somebody could.
It was 9-20 something. It was 21-9.
Okay.
And I watched the whole game on Nickelodeon, and I don't have kids, but it was fun.
It was entertaining.
But it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch the touchdowns with the slime cannons going off and stuff. Man.
I saw that they had SpongeBob in the goalpost.
Yep.
Yes.
Did they have like a little trail on the football, or did they?
They had a whole bunch of stuff. They had googly eyes on the players, and I posted a whole bunch of pictures on my Facebook of it. It was.
I'll have to look.
And they had Nate Burleson from Good Morning Football and CBS actually hosted it with like a couple of TikTokers and a Nickelodeon star. It was like all these teenagers and him. It was hilarious.
There's a reason why they put it on Nickelodeon.
They had a little humiliating to the Bears at the same time, though.
What's up?
They had one of the kids from the Nickelodeon broadcast on Pat McAfee's show the next day, and he was talking about how great it was. And it was just too bad that they ruined a whole generation of kids for football by making them watch the Bears on Saturday.
Wait do you hear this? They had a phone phone in or text in award called the
MVP, Nickelodeon Valuable Player.
And do you know who won?
It was Trubisky, right?
Trubisky.
Why did Trubisky win?
Because he has a cool name and kids like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's
how it works, because he had a cool.
He was actually trending on he was trending on Twitter at one point. It was Mitch MVP. That was trending on Twitter because everyone wanted him to get it because he's got to win something. So there you go. He won.
Did you know that Sean Payton actually got slimed after the game in the locker room? Yeah.
I saw
he said if I win, I'll let them slime me, and he did. I thought that was pretty cool. No, seriously, if you ended up watching that game on whatever CBS or whatever it was on, I would have slept through it. But the Nickelodeon thing was kind of fun. So
made it a little bit more exciting. So
yeah,
I think we got in a good little bit here. Let's talk about next week. Let's start with game 1, Rams Packers.
Yeah, I'm just writing these brackets out. I figure that we'll just talk about the games last week and this week's games, and we could do this again next week and talk about just you get it. Yeah. So you have, sorry, so it's Rams, Packers, and then it's Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the delay there. Yeah, broken thumb playing against the frozen tundra.
Not going to bode well. That offense is going to be in trouble.
Don't see it happening.
The only way I see anything happening is Cam Akers. Packers' run defense is a little suspect to the run. I mean, they stopped Derrick Henry pretty well 3 weeks ago, but I think they could be in a little bit of trouble if they can't stop Cam Akers, who's looking like a really good running back right now.
Is Snacks going to play? They signed him a couple of weeks ago. Is he going to play this game?
He should. I don't see why he wouldn't. I think he's passed all the protocols and everything like that, and he's like a really big.
He's pretty badass, you
know.
Yes,
great run stuffer, and that's exactly what they needed. And what do you know? For the playoffs, perfect timing. They needed a run stuffer. That he's one of the best third down run stuffers in the NFL. At least he was.
Yeah.
For the Packers.
Yes, he was on. He got signed toward the end of the season with the Pack, and he was kind of. I think he was with the Seahawks or something for a little bit.
Yeah, he got released from the Seahawks. And a week after that, they picked him up like either at the end of the season or right at the beginning of the playoffs. I don't know, but he wasn't eligible to play. Oh, that's right. He wasn't eligible to play the last game of the season. That's what it was. They picked him up right that week before the last game.
Which is
I gotta say. So I moved out to Wisconsin in the Fox cities. We're 40 minutes away from Lambeau Field here, and for being the best team in the NFC this year, I feel like nobody gives a crap. Like, I just feel like nobody is even talking about the Packers. I figured it would be like Packers in your face everywhere I go. Not to say that I go many places right now during, COVID and whatnot, but like, it just, I don't feel it like the Vikings were in the playoffs in Minnesota. It's like, the Vikings are in the playoffs. Maybe it's because like Packers are like, we've been here before. This is what we do. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I've been seeing a lot of people. I mean, I see people wear their Packers jerseys all the time. People are wearing Packer masks when I see them, even at the store.
True. I guess I have seen a little bit of a rise in Packers gear.
They're still there. They're just you don't see them as much.
And I suppose, like I said, I guess I don't go out, and you can't go out right now.
Well, here's the thing. I consume a lot of podcasts and football shows and stuff, and out of like the half dozen or so power rankings that I follow, the Packers are between 1 and 3 in every single one.
Right. I feel like the Packers are,
and the Rams are not.
And the Rams are not. The Packers are 100. I think the Packers are going to win this game easily. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I do think that they're not going to have a problem. They're not going to have to come back to win. They're going to get the lead, and they're going to maintain that lead. That's just my prediction. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Colorado?
I think, everybody's overlooking the fact that they were in the NFC Championship game last year, and the San Francisco 49ers ran the ball down their throats. Still stands out to me. It was 3rd and 12. And they ran a draw play up the middle and got about 15 yards because they knew that the Packers pass rush was going to try and do those crazy stunts that they do with the Smith brothers and try and get off the edge and come after the quarterbacks. So I think if LA can come out and show, I still do that. It's the Chargers are the worst one. Anyway, I think that if the Rams can come out and establish the run and then let their defense control the pace of the game, I think they have a decent chance at winning. I don't think that they're going to win, but I will, like I said earlier, I will not be surprised if they do. I think that the Packers are great during the regular season. And then if we look at them last year in the playoffs, they just got smoked in the NFC Championship game. And I think if the Rams follow the same game script that the 49ers did last year in that NFC Championship, that they definitely have a decent chance of beating the Packers. The only thing that they have going against them is the 49ers are playing at home, and this time it's in Lambeau, and we all know what Aaron Rodgers can do when he's under the lights in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Rams can come out and play that same game script that the 49ers did last year. But I think if they can maintain possession of the ball and run the ball down the Packers' throat, then they're going to have a chance, especially with Donald and Ramsey matching up well against that Green Bay offense.
No, you plead your case very, very convincingly. Did they play this year in the regular season?
No.
They did not. Okay, I wasn't sure if they did or not.
They did play San Fran, but San Fran was a walking hospital, so that didn't really mean much.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, when they
Just a
showed
shout.
the last 49ers game of the year, and they showed like the suite, and they had like 6 or 7 of their starter players just hanging out in the suite. Like, there's the 49ers injured on the side, in the suite, just watching their backups play. So I guess is it a 3-1 vote that the Packers win on this one?
I'm gonna pick the Packers, but I won't be surprised if the Rams win.
Okay.
Likewise. This is a game like you said. The matchup is really, really good here for the Rams, and I mean, for example, think of the Bears and the Packers. That's a terrible matchup. The Packers win that every single time because they match up.
That would have been so awful. All that would have been so awful if the Bears.
We would have had to put it on Nickelodeon again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that would have been hilarious.
No, that one would have had to go on the Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Comedy Central.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so to spice things up again, let's hop over to the other. Let's hop over to the AFC. And number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Cleveland Browns. I woke up feeling dangerous, and he's coming to Kansas City. Can they ride this momentum through KC?
I don't think so.
Here's the thing. When the Browns can get going, the Browns can score points. And Kansas City's defense has not been good this year. They've given up a lot of points, and the Browns have actually had more 40-point games this season than the Chiefs have. So if the Browns can come out and they can have everything hit on every cylinder, and they can get their offense going the way that they have in the past, then they have a chance. But then we have to remember that they are playing Patrick Mahomes. And everybody has seen what Patrick Mahomes can do and how fast he can come back. I remember watching against the Raiders earlier this year on Sunday Night Football. The Raiders gave him the ball back with 1:32 left, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? You trying?
No, don't do that.
That's easy.
And he drove down the field. He scored. There was still 30 seconds left on the clock. So, I mean, I don't think the Browns can win. I think that the Chiefs are going to dominate this game, but at the same time, you never know. You get a little dumb luck. You get a snap to go over the quarterback's head again. You go up 21 points to the first quarter, and you never know what can happen. But realistically, Chiefs are going to come out and win this game, probably by at least.
They were saying on another podcast that Kansas City, after a bye with Mahomes, when they come back after a bye, they always score like 40-plus points. The fact that Kansas City was on a bye this past week, they had a chance to watch Cleveland play. They're probably going to score a lot. And I'm taking this right from that podcast because I agree. But Kansas City will probably score a lot, so that does mean that they'll probably give up a decent amount of points to Cleveland. But in the end, Patty Mahomes will still prevail.
I have 2 things to say about this. One, the Chiefs are one of those teams that are a lot like the Packers in the sense they play to the ability of the opponents they're playing. A really great team should be able to play a really bad team and destroy them. But yet they played some really bad teams and the scores were suspiciously close, and that's not a good sign. If you go and play a team that's horrible, you should be scoring 40 points, and they weren't doing that, and they're not doing that. However, okay, that's the one thing I want to say. So that's kind of scary because they're not putting teams away like they should. Secondly, though, because of Patrick Mahomes, even if the Browns start off just like they did with the Steelers, and if that was the Steelers versus the Chiefs and the Browns were up 28 points in the first quarter, Chiefs still win the game because Mahomes comes on in the last quarter of the game, and once you
count him out.
Once you turn him on, you can't turn him off. So I don't know what the answer is because I think the Browns could score 40 points in the first half, and I still think the Chiefs are going to come in and
the
still
Chiefs
win.
come back and win 45-40.
Seriously, 41-40, whatever. I mean, it's going to be whatever it is, they'll win. But man. And this is a rough one for me because my wife actually likes 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. So she's going to be screaming and throwing things at the TV all day. So it's going to be great.
I can't wait. What's your take on this, Austin?
So I think that the Chiefs, I think they will win. Main reason as well, Browns defense is still not good. It's not that good. And they do have some pretty big players like Myles Garrett. And I think he's a huge piece of that defense, one of the best defensive players in the NFL right now. But is that going to really be enough to stop that entire team? That entire team is just so fast and so physical and big. Think of just the offense alone. They just have so many different weapons. They'll get you through the air. They can get you through the ground. They can get you with Patrick Mahomes. He can move on his feet. There's just infinite ways that they can kill you on offense. So I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble if they can't stop that, because the Steelers at least had some defense and some of it was not there at all. Steelers weren't playing well last week, but Chiefs are going to be coming in hot.
It literally is a bad omen when the ball goes flying over your head. Like, all jokes aside, like, if that happens in a game, dude, screwed. Like, if it's not a safety, it's gonna be a touchdown. Or would it be a touchback as well?
It would have been a safety. If the Steelers would have recovered in their own end zone, it would have been a safety. But
if
the Browns got it as a touchdown.
If they hiked it and just went over Ben's head and went out of bounds, would it have been a safety?
That was a safety. Yep.
It still would have been a safety.
Yep.
What's your take on this, man? What?
I mean, like I said earlier, I think the Browns have the potential with their offense to score enough points, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do it at the end of the day. And even if they do put up 40-plus points, I think if Mahomes has the ball with less than 2 minutes left, we've all seen what he can do at the end of a game and how well he can come back. It's going to be another thing with the Browns where unless they have every single thing go their way like they did in the Steelers game, it's going to be really tough for them to come out and beat the Chiefs, especially in Kansas City. I mean, they know how to play at home. Andy Reid is one of the best coaches there is coming off of a bye week. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks there is coming off of a bye week. They've had a whole week to rest up and see what the Browns are going to do. I mean, it's going to be really interesting. The only thing that I can think of is if the Browns can use Chubb and Kareem Hunt together and run for 350 yards and just maintain the clock and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, that's going to be really the only way that they have a chance of beating this high-powered Chiefs offense.
I back everything you guys said. I think Kansas City is going to win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think Kansas City puts up at least 40 points.
And Andy Reid is 18-3 after the bye.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Not good odds.
So
other than that.
If I was a reporter after the press conference, I think the first question I would ask Baker Mayfield is, Baker Mayfield, do you still feel dangerous?
Yeah. I think you feel a little bit pressured, a little bit more pressured at this game. So.
But hey, dude, if the Browns pull it off,
yeah.
Holy cow!
Like, let's go.
They're going all the way. Then they got it at that point.
If they do it any given Sunday or Saturday, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Hopping back over to the NFC. You got the two oldest quarterbacks in the league playing each other. This is what everybody wanted to see earlier in the season. Division rivals. Their third time playing this year. The Saints are 2-0 against them. Mm-hmm. Can they beat Tom Brady and the Bucs the third time? I'm gonna say, Lent, you go first this time.
Well, I do think that the Saints have a better team, but like you had just mentioned, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. I think that Tampa Bay is starting to come into their own. I think the weapons that Tom Brady has are starting to come onto the same page as him. I think Tampa's defense has really come out and improved themselves. So I honestly think that Tampa Bay is going to come out and win this game. I think that Drew Brees is still banged up. I think he really didn't have to do much against the Bears because they were so bad. And let's be realistic, they're the counter. Them and the Colts are the exact opposite arguments of why you shouldn't have the 7th seed. The Colts came out, played a great game. They showed that they deserved to be in the playoffs. The Bears are the opposite and showed that they didn't belong in the first place. So I think the Saints had a really easy game against the Bears last week, and they're really going to have to show what Drew Brees has in this game against Tampa Bay. And I think if Tampa can get pressure on Drew Brees early and even get inside of his head just to get him to get rid of that ball a little bit early than he wants to, then I think it's going to be a long day for Brees and the Saints. They are going to have to come up with some kind of a plan to cover Alvin Kamara. We've all seen what he can do. He's an extremely talented weapon there is on offense. So I don't know how exactly they're going to try and cover him. But if they can figure out a way to get pressure on Brees and cover Kamara, I think that Tampa Bay is going to come away with the victory in this one.
Let me ask you this question. How many passing yards overall between the two quarterbacks?
Wow.
I'm
Well, it's not
I'm
going to be
gonna
as
go on
high
the
as you think.
No? I mean, I did two gunslingers, so that's what I thought maybe.
Yeah, but does Breeze still have it? I mean, is he still slinging? What's his numbers been looking like lately?
I guess it's a good point. It's hard to say. Maybe I'm thinking of Breeze 6 years ago. You know.
I mean, the guy broke 11 ribs. That's like half of your rib. The fact that he's able to come and even be on the field is impressive in its own. But the fact that the dude has to stand on his tippy toes to throw the ball over his offensive line means that he's going to have to be able to move pocket to not get chased down by this Tampa Bay defense. And there's one thing I know about a Todd Bowles-led defense. He likes to bring the heat. He's going to come after you. He's going to put pressure on you. So Breeze is definitely going to have to be getting rid of that ball quick. And I think that if Tampa can come out and force him to get rid of the ball faster than he wants to, he's going to have a long day.
Okay. So you got Tampa. What about you, Bill? Billy? Bill? I never called you Bill before.
Yeah, no, Bill's my dad. No, I'm on the Brady train. Have you guys seen the meme that's going around for the History Channel?
This one should be on the History Channel.
Yeah, so there they are. Do you see them?
That's great.
Is that great? So yeah, so it's the old ball, but yeah, definitely Brady, man, definitely the Tampa Bay.
Austin, what do you mean? What's your take?
I think.
He's torn. He's torn about it.
See, this is tough because every single time the Saints have played the Buccaneers, it was pretty one-sided for the most part. Especially the second time they met, it was a complete blowout, and that was in Tampa. Week 1 they did play, and I mean, they just match up against them. This is one of those matchups where they just match against them perfectly. And I think the Saints have the edge. However, looking at how both teams have been playing the last 2 weeks here,
there you go.
I think Tampa went against. This might be crazy to say. I think the Washington football team, their defense, they were playing well. They're playing hot. The Saints defense was kind of playing lazy, but even though they did keep them to 9 points, and there was a garbage time 6-point touchdown at the very end that didn't matter. I think the Saints can get exposed by that awesome Tom Brady-led offense. And if you have a leader like Tom Brady, he's been in the playoffs before. He's been there once or twice or something, and so has Breeze. And fun fact, exactly. And a fun fact about this is that this is the first time they have ever played in the playoffs together, against each other in the playoffs. First time ever.
I mean, that's cool, but like one was in the AFC forever and one was in the NFC forever.
Exactly. And the only time they would ever meet is in a Super Bowl. But at the same time, it's exciting because this has never happened. They have 2 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, first ballot, and they're going against each other, and we get to see it. It literally is history. So
no, it's going to be cool, and it's going to be real tough for New Orleans to beat them for a third time this year.
I think but
it is in New Orleans. Not that home field advantage really is a thing right now. So you picked Tampa, huh?
And that's a really good point.
Oh, what's up? Yeah.
I was going to say that's the home field advantage thing is a really good point because the Saints are known for having one of the best home field advantages with that dome and how loud it can get in there. So the fact that Brady's not going to have to worry about that, to not have to go on a silent count, and he's going to be able to go out there, call his audibles, and run his offense, I think is a huge advantage for Tampa Bay.
Do they pump crowd noise into the stadium?
They will, but it's not going to be.
It's still not the same.
It's nothing like it. No. So are there no fans there?
There are going to be fans, I believe.
Some. I think New Orleans has had some.
Probably a few thousand, but that's it.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like, man, it's hard to go against the Bucs right now. I originally said Saints, and then I changed it to Bucs, then I changed it to Saints. This is all on the same day, by the way. But I think Drew Brees and the Saints are going to pull it off. At least that's what I wrote down. So I'm gonna stick with my with what I wrote down, and I think they're going to pull it off. It's not going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to come down to Tom Brady throwing a stupid pick in the end zone, something like that.
So there's going to be 6,000 fans there, same as Lambeau Field.
But it isn't. But I mean, this is a democracy here, so it's a 3-1 vote. So we're going to put Tampa Bay down here.
Well, I'm going to say Saints. I'm going to say Saints.
We want to use the coin.
Yeah.
Let's get the coin. Let's get the coin. Tails is the home team.
So, I mean, like, what are we? Home's heads, Bucks ways tails, right? That's
fine. We can do that. We can do that.
But we have to stick with that. So home will always be heads.
Home heads. That makes sense.
All right, here we go.
It's a two-headed coin.
Tails never fails, and the Bucks are gonna win.
There we go. You heard it here first.
We'll see.
I should have let it hit the ground, but I used to listen to real quick. I used to listen to on my way home from my gigs at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I lived in Minneapolis, coming home from Western Wisconsin. I would listen to this guy named Ben Mather or something. He'd be like, "We're in the air everywhere," and they would do the coin game, and then I would flip the coin, and you'd hear it like land on the desk, and then I always pick. That's how they made their predictions every week of who was going to win. They would flip a coin. But yeah, I remember listening to that radio show at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. It was so cool, and I think his name was Ben Maller. Anyways.
That sounds right. He's still a guy who does a late night show, so you're probably on the right track.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now we're gonna hop in the plane from New Orleans, and we're going to cruise on up to chilly old Buffalo. And I'm gonna let Austin start this one because Buffalo, New York, it kind of goes hand in hand. Same color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, the hat colors of the new hats from last year, or I don't know, they're actually the exact color. The hats look exactly the same from both the Giants and the Bills. Anyway, so we got Lamar coming up to New York. He's going to go play the Bills. Bills Mafia, they're going to be there, and not going to be a lot of them, but they'll still be there. I think
just for weather's sake, let's just say that it's a normal fine day.
We'll just say it's a normal winter day. Let's say it's like in the 20s, maybe high 20s, low 30s, and you got a breeze. That's pretty normal for Buffalo. I think this could be this is one of the games that can really go either way. But I think how the Bills have been playing lately and how they've just been crushing teams the 2 weeks prior, and how they handled the Colts pretty well. It was a close game. The score made it look really, really close because it was. I think this is like the same thing. It can kind of go either way, but I'm going to give the edge to the Bills just because one, I'm in love with what Josh Allen is doing this year. He's a big boy making big plays, and you just got to hope that even he's still young. It's his junior year, but he's made huge leaps and bounds. And you just got to hope that he doesn't do anything crazy like what he did last year in that Texans game where he almost actually threw the game away when he did that backwards pass and fumbled it. And if that was recovered, that's it, game over. So you got to make sure Josh Allen doesn't go too much and try too hard to make a play happen, because that Ravens defense is still very, very good and very, very dangerous.
Is this the first game this week? Like, is this the first one on Saturday or the second one?
Yeah, first one.
No, first one on Saturday is going to be the Packers and Rams.
That's right. Yeah, this is the first one on Sunday, though,
Ravens,
right?
Bills.
This is.
Oh, it's a Saturday night game.
Check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, I said it right when we first started this, but like, I think that's going to be like literally the best game of the week.
I think so.
Bucks Saints will be good too, but like.
Best balance though,
like Billy said too, like
balanced.
if you're a real football fan, like the general public wants to watch Brady and Breeze, whatever, but like to watch the young kids, Jackson and Allen, go at it, Buffalo against Baltimore, which is probably two teams we're going to see play in the playoffs years to come. Like these two teams aren't going away as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Austin.
No, it's all good. And kind of looking at just on like offensive standpoint wise, I mean, the Bills are ranked 3 overall right now, and the Ravens are 19. They have the Ravens, believe it or not, they have the 32nd rate passing offense. 32nd. That's the worst in the NFL. But they have the number 1 rushing offense because 1, Lamar Jackson, and then they have like 2 or 3 really, really good running backs. So if they stop the run, that's it. And that's all the Bills have to do, but can they? But if they stop the run, it's game over. That game you can
quarterback and running back run.
Exactly. You got a lot of read options. If you're watching last week, when you see Lamar running, every single time he ran, those are read options. It wasn't like there was all QB option plays. And it wasn't like he's trying to get out of the pocket, he's trying to throw and then runs out of the pocket. They're designed to make him run like that. So if they can pick out, they gotta have someone on him. They have to have a spy on him all game. Because if they let him go, it's done. If you let that run happen, it's done. But if you can make him pass, he's going to make some errors because that, like I said, it's a 32 ranked defense for passing, and you can take advantage of that if you're the Bills.
So what you're telling me is that Buffalo is going to take a trip to Kansas City after this game.
I think they have the best. Well, we'll see. Maybe the Browns take a trip to Buffalo. Who knows? Who knows? But I have the Bills over the Ravens on this game because I think, if they stop that run, it's over. So, and plus, I really like the Bills' defense. They've been turning up quite a bit lately. They're making plays. They're playing hard defense. They're playing gritty football. So I think overall, the Bills do have the advantage here. Plus, it is at home. It's going to be cold. And if Lamar doesn't like the cold, well, bundle up. It's going to get cold. You can get chilly.
Who else go next? What do you got to say?
Okay. So let me tell you a story. So last year, I picked Lamar Jackson as my quarterback for my fantasy football team, and it blew my mind how amazing this guy was. And I was so sold on him that when we started our league this year, my first pick was not a running back. I picked Lamar Jackson first.
Oh, running back, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, right. Exactly. You see where I'm coming from, right? Unfortunately, this was the year that they decided they were going to teach Lamar how to be a pocket player and throw the ball. And through the first half of the season, I was dying a horrible death. And then about halfway through, Lamar said, well, I'm done with this. And he's starting to play like 2019 Lamar again. Mm-hmm. So having said that,
you took a poop and he's better. So.
Right. If you get 2019 Lamar this weekend, they just might win. But I know we're not talking weather, but the forecast is.
Yeah, what is the forecast?
The forecast, 33 degrees with a 68% chance of snow and wind gusts of up to 15 miles an hour. And the snow's not really the big deal, but the wind is a big deal.
That wind's huge.
And Lamar is not the best passer, so they're going to have to do it on the ground.
And the Ravens have a better kicker. I know we don't talk kickers much, but Justin Tucker's voted like best kicker almost of all time.
So. Is that Justin Tucker?
Yeah.
So
I love kickers.
So I definitely think the Bills got this unless 2019 Lamar shows up.
I mean, I think I know who you think's going to win. I know who you want to win there, Lent. I'm sure the jersey's hanging right in front of you.
It's right behind me. I didn't have time to go grab it. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. I think he's made huge strides this year. I really want the Bills to win. I just think that we're underrating the Ravens defense. I think the Ravens defense is outstanding. They have 3 guys who can cover. And Diggs is a great wide receiver. He's probably the best receiver so far this season. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those corners match up with Diggs and how they're going to cover him, if they're going to bracket him over the top, if they're going to cover him underneath. I know that he's explosive over the top, so I'm assuming that they're going to give them some safety help. But if those corners can match up with Diggs, I think it's going to put Josh Allen in a long day. And I think that the Ravens pass rush can also get after the quarterback, and that, you can put pressure on Josh Allen. So I think it's really going to be a test of how well Josh Allen and Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, can counteract this Ravens defense, and whether or not they can come up with a scheme that's going to allow Josh Allen to utilize his skills to get that ball out to Stephon Diggs and his other weapons. The Bills don't have the greatest running game, which is, I think, something that they could have relied on more against the Colts. I mean, they were up 14 points going into the fourth quarter and let the Colts back into the game. So I think that if the Bills do get out to an early lead, they're going to have to figure out a way to move the ball without forcing Josh Allen to do everything. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how well that Ravens defense matches up with that Bills offense, because, I mean, Wink Martindale is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league right now. He's definitely one of the top names that we're talking about for possible head coaching positions next year. So I think as his last hurrah, he might dial up some great defense that's going to throw Josh Allen off. And I mean, this is coming from a guy who loves Josh Allen and really wants to see the Bills win. I just think the Ravens have been playing really good lately. They've taken their last 5 games, dominated their opponents. The Bills have been playing well too. So it's really going to be an interesting matchup. I really do think that this is going to be one of the best days of the weekend. And I think it goes back to like what you guys were saying before. If Baltimore can come out and Baltimore can get the lead and Baltimore can utilize that running game, I think it's going to be a long day for the Bills. But the other way around, I think if the Bills can come out and get a lead early and don't have to worry about Lamar running and make Lamar pass, then it's going to be a long day for the Ravens. So I really think that the script of this game could go either way. It's going to depend a lot on what happens early and how the game scripts pan out from then, and to see who gets out to an early lead.
So I'm super stoked for this game. So I mean, I guess I'm putting Buffalo down.
I mean, really, just toss the coin.
Yeah, you really should. Like, I hate to pick, so I think coin.
So okay, let's do the coin. So we said home team's heads.
Home team's heads.
This is gutsy here. This is gutsy right here.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm gonna let it hit the table this time.
Cool.
All right.
It landed on its side.
It landed on its side. It is tails again, so you know what that means?
Tails.
That means Tavares Jackson's going to upset Buffalo.
Wow. And that could happen. I think this is a 50-50 game.
I think this is a 50-50 game too. So the two games that we feel that are going to be not a 50-50 game would be the two number 1 seed games, KC and Green Bay. They're definitely going to go on.
The one's got to win. They got it, right? Right?
I mean, you would
think so. I mean, I can't see the Rams coming back if they get down 14 points. So if the Packers can somehow come out and score early on that Rams defense and catch them off guard, I can't imagine that the Rams are going to be able to come back.
I don't either.
Cleveland's in a little bit different boat because I don't think Kansas City has that great of a defense. But at the same time, Cleveland literally had everything possible go their way against that game against the Steelers, and it still came down to Mike Tomlin making a bad decision to punt the ball on 4th down late and do. I mean, he goes for that. Exactly. He goes for that and tries to score a touchdown there. Then all of a sudden, it's a 1-score game late into the 4th quarter. So I really do think the Browns, even though they played great on Sunday, and it's nice to see them get a win, especially for a franchise that's been so down over the past 20 years. They literally had every single thing go their way, and I don't see that happening for them against Kansas City. So I really don't think that they have a chance. But like Billy, you said earlier, Kansas City tends to play down to the level of their opponents. Yeah. So I really do think that because of that, the Browns do have a chance. But I got to go Kansas City. I think that they're going to be the ones that just come out and really show why they're the defending Super Bowl champs.
Well, I mean, so according to us, and just remember, we're no different than those guys on TV. They just have more papers and statistics. So we have a.
Hey, we got Google, man.
You guys have impressed me very much. I didn't even look at Google this whole time, so I'm like, these guys got it. AFC Championship game. Our prediction is Baltimore, Kansas City. I'm gonna say I'm rooting for Buffalo. I am gonna root for Buffalo. I gotta keep it in the AFC East. They're so fun to watch right now. Oh, they're fun to watch. But
I really wish this was our AFC Championship game. Where's Buffalo, Baltimore? It's too bad that one of these teams has to go home.
And who knows? Maybe next week we'll be talking about how it is Buffalo, Kansas City. But according to us right now, it's going to be Buff and the coin, It's going to be Buffalo against Kansas City. Then the NFC, the NFL is going to get what they wanted all year. And it's going to be Brady versus Rodgers in the NFC Championship game. This is what everybody wanted to see.
In Lambeau.
Because Brady's good in the cold. Rodgers is good in the cold.
He can do it. Mm-hmm. Brady's been there before.
I kind of got chills there for a second because that would be, it's going to be a cool game. That's going to be a cool game. But they played earlier this year.
And they crushed. The Buccaneers crushed the Packers. It was
it was embarrassing.
I think it ended up being 3 or 10 to 38.
It was bad.
It was just a complete domination, disassembled of that team. And that kind of reminds me just a little bit of what happened with the 49ers last year when the Packers came to town. Because both games, it wasn't even close. It was the same game, and I watched it twice. And one was in the regular season, one was in the playoffs. They weren't even close. So we'll see what happens.
38-10, man.
Yeah.
That was the Bucks over the Pack this year, Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 38-10.
What week was that?
Week
3, 4, 5.
It
was early.
It doesn't say.
I want to say it was early in the year.
Yeah, and see, that's the scary thing because that's when the Buccaneers hadn't figured it out yet. Because they've been getting better and better and better, and now Antonio Brown's like part of the equation. He's actually
he's playing. He's catching passes and scoring touchdowns.
I mean,
he had one.
I mean, they're twice the team they were when they beat them back then. That's really going to come back and kick the Packers in the butt, I think.
That's going to be an incredible game. I mean, who knows? Not hopefully, but who knows what we're going to be talking about later.
True.
But I don't know. So that's it. I mean, that's the Wavcast Zoomcast playoff prediction divisional round.
Yay!
I had a lot of fun. I'm glad that all three of you could join. We were super lucky that Lent was available. He's normally not home Thursday nights.
That's great.
So that was cool that you were able to join. Billy and Austin, like, you guys have no excuse next week, so we will do this again. I'm thinking we do it if we wanted to get you involved, Lent. It would probably have to be on Tuesday night if possible. I know you might be busy still too, though.
Tuesday's fine.
But
Tuesday would work best. I don't know what my schedule is going to be next week because of everything going on at work. I might have to be stuck working the graveyard shift again. We'll see what happens. But if you guys can all do Tuesday, I can definitely commit to a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, just like, an hour and chill it up afterwards.
Exactly.
If not, no big deal. But I'm gonna quit recording this. But thanks for whoever actually watches this. And I think they say this: don't forget to click like and subscribe on my YouTube
and leave comments below because
like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification.
Yeah, because so every time we're on, and we want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget,
how dumb do you think we are? Say in the comments.
and don't forget, if you like what you're saying, you want to support us, you hit us up on our Patreon. Oops, wait, we don't have one of those, do we?
Not yet.
We're working on that. Or either Patreon or OnlyFans, one of the two.
There you go.
Just kidding. Okay. All right, I'm not ending it. You guys don't leave. We're just saying bye to the people.
We understand. Yeah, we get it.